What's up, everyone? This is Brandon with BiggerPockets, and I wanted to talk directly to people who are struggling to get their very first real estate deal. So I'm going to talk for, I don't know, we'll stay around for 10-15 minutes maybe. I don't want to talk directly to you guys. If you guys are having trouble getting your first investment property, whether it's a flip, whether it's a rental property, whatever, that's what I want to talk to. So do me a quick favor, let me know you can hear me in the little chat area by a couple ways. One, give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, and then also comment and let me know where you're at right now. I think that's always a nice thing to know where people are at in the world. So if you're wondering where I'm at, this is actually not my backyard. I'm not that guy who's like, check out my books and I don't know, whatever. I'm actually at a vacation rental property in Kailua, Hawaii right now, on a little surfing safari, as they say. I wanted to learn how to surf, and I'll actually talk about that a little bit later. Anyway, so again, we're talking about how to, get your first deal. Like, what does that look like? Like, why do people struggle so much with that? So if that's you, pay close attention to this. Now, I'm actually probably going to walk, I don't know, maybe I'll hang outside for a while, but I want to talk again directly to you guys who are struggling. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is this. So I am brand new right now. I'm brand new to this idea. I'm going to go inside the house where it's a little bit cooler in here. Check this out. All right, so I'm struggling right now learning how to surf. All right, I know we're talking about real estate investing today, but I want to talk about surfing for just a second here. So let me go ahead real quick and set my camera up nicely so I'm not wobbling all over. How's that work? Does that work? All right, we're a little tilted. All right, so right now I am struggling learning how to surf. And so what I realized, though, is this, and I'm going to use this kind of as an analogy or kind of a picture of the real estate investor's journey. So the first time I went out to go surfing, I was like all over the place. My board, I couldn't keep it steady. I fell off, I think, the first 10 feet into the water and crashed into the water. And I got up again and I was paddling out, and within a minute, my arms were sore. And then I fell into the water again. I tried sitting on the board, and I was wobbling all over, and I did not ride a single wave the entire first day. I was out there for 3 or 4 hours, and I did not ride a single wave. In fact, I just looked like an idiot the whole time. And so what I realized was I got done, and where a lot of people in real estate investing or in anything new, right? They get started with some new venture, and then they struggle and they struggle and struggle, and then they give up after that first time. So what I did is I went 2 days later, I went out again, and I got my buddy Doug Nordman, if you guys know him at all. He's a military finance blogger. He's teaching me to surf, and so Doug takes me out again the second time, and this time, I paddle on out there, and this time I paddled a little bit further than the time before, and I made it all the way out there, and my arms were sore and tired, but I didn't fall off as much. Finally, towards the end of the day, I finally kind of rode a wave, but not really. I still was terrible at it. Fell in the water a whole bunch, but I was a little bit better. And then I went again 2 days later, and I went out there, and my arms were a little bit stronger this time. I got all the way out there, and this time I actually rode several waves, like pretty decent. Then I went the fourth time, which was yesterday, and I rode pretty consistently. I could get out there and ride waves. And so my point is this: when you're starting anything new, especially real estate investing, I understand that there's a lot of unknowns, right? You don't know what comes next. You don't know how to find the deal. You don't know where to go, how to do it. And so a lot of people sit on the beach and they never get out there and actually get in the waves. But here's the truth, is every time I got in those waves, I got stronger. Doug, the way my instructor Doug was telling me, it's like muscle memory. Certain things just come naturally over time, and your subconscious or your whatever brain figures this stuff out, and you don't even have to worry about it anymore. So I don't even worry about staying steady on the board. The first time I went out, I did stay steady on the board. I don't worry about that anymore. The first few times I worried about how do I paddle hard enough. I don't worry about that anymore. I've got the actual physical muscle now building in my shoulders to be able to handle that, right? The same thing is true for real estate investors. Every time you pursue a deal, you're getting muscle memory. You're getting stronger, both mentally, physically, whatever. You're getting closer to that deal. So the first time you pursue a real estate deal, you might get 5% of the way there, and then you're gonna fall into the water and crash, right? And the next time you pursue a real estate deal, you're gonna get 20% of the way there, and then maybe 40% of the way there. And what most newbies do is they give up somewhere in that process, and they stop and they go and sit on the beach and say, you know what, this is too hard. But what they don't realize is that every time they're going through every time these challenges happen, they are learning and they're growing their muscle memory, so to speak. Right? And I think if you guys are struggling with getting started, just move forward. If you guys agree with that, give me a thumbs up right now or a heart if you guys agree with that logic, right? So many people give up, but if you just push through, you're naturally gonna do it. So today when I buy real estate deals, like I typically make offers like I've made offers like texting and driving, which don't do that, don't text and drive, but I've done that. Like I'm just like, all right, we'll do this. Like it's such a easy thing now to make a real estate offer and to buy a piece of property and oh, I need to come up with $100,000 for that deal. Okay, no problem. Like those things become easy over time because you build up like this muscle memory. In other words, it just happens. And so I want to encourage you guys, don't give up. Don't go sit on the beach and relax and say, you know what, it's too hard. I'm content with my 9-to-5 job. I'll stay here until I'm 65 and a half and I can live on Social Security and beans and rice until I'm dead. Right? Don't give up your dreams because you can actually do this. You just have to work through a little bit farther every time and you'll build that muscle memory up. So that's the first thing I want to tell you guys today is if you're struggling to getting started, just keep pushing through. Second thing on that note is this. A lot of times people do what's called, there's this concept they call dead space, right? So let me give you another kind of example. So the first time I wrote the book on investing in real estate with no and low money down. That came out, 3 or 4 years ago now. The first time when I wrote that book, it took me like a year to write that book. Now, did it really take me a year to write that book? No, it took me probably 30 hours of actual writing, or maybe 100 hours, whatever, right? But we spread it out over a year. The same thing for like reading a book, right? How long does it take to actually read a novel? I don't know, 4 or 5 hours. But why do we have the same novel sitting by our bedstand for months at a time? It's because we only read a little bit at a time and then we wait 2, 3, 4 weeks before we pick it up again. It's true with almost everything you try to pursue in life. And so if you want to accomplish anything in the world faster, you simply need to identify and eliminate or minimize your dead space. So here's what I recommend to people with real estate investing. If you were to on Monday go online, spend half hour looking at properties on realtor.com or Zillow or something like that. And then next Wednesday, a week and a half later, you go and you drive your neighborhood and you look at some properties that are for sale. And then a week or two later, you go out and maybe you call up a real estate agent and have a conversation with them. And then a week or two later, you guys see what I'm getting at, right? It spreads out your success so much. And so what I encourage people to do all the time is set aside a little bit of time. It's better to set aside a little time every day than a chunk once every couple weeks. Build that momentum. On the BiggerPockets webinars, I host a webinar live on BiggerPockets every single week. In fact, this week, coming up here, we're doing it on Wednesday. So if you're watching this on Tuesday, it's on Wednesday tomorrow. You can sign up at biggerpockets.com/webinar. But I'm hosting this webinar, and every week I talk about this challenge. I challenge the listeners or the attenders to what I call the 90-day challenge. And this is what it is. It's, can you set aside 30 minutes a day? And I'll give you your weekends. Don't worry about weekends. Can you set aside 30 minutes per day, 5 days a week, over the next 90 days to work on your real estate business? And if 30 minutes is too much, can you set aside 15 minutes every day to do it? And I know a lot of you are saying, no, I can't do that, but can you wake up 15 minutes earlier? Can you cut down on Netflix, Game of Thrones time, right? Can we cut a little bit out of your time just so every day you're moving a little closer? If you read a book 15, 20 minutes every day, you'd probably finish a book every other week, right? Because you could just plow through them because you've eliminated or minimized your dead space. And I want to encourage you guys with your real estate, minimize or eliminate your dead space. And you do that by working every single day at it. Even if it's just a couple minutes, consistently and constantly work to eliminate your dead space. Always ask yourself, what is my next actionable step? That's a term that David Allen uses in the book, Getting Things Done. And I love this term. It's basically at any given moment, say, what is the very next thing actionable that I need to do? And usually it's like a 10 or 15 minute thing. Like maybe you got to make a phone call or you got to go do something real quick. It's usually not very much work, but we space it out months sometimes, right? So I'm looking to buy right now a mobile home park. I like the idea of buying a mobile home park. It's just something I picked at, not quite random, but I just chose, I want to buy a mobile home park this year. But you know what? I've been talking about this for 6 months now. Does it really take me 6 months to buy a mobile home park? No, of course not. And does it take a person that long? No, I could probably, if I just worked at it every single day, I could do that. So I'm not talking just to you guys, I'm talking to myself as well. I'm talking to experienced investors and newbies. Is if you want something, go at it every single day, even if it's just for a couple minutes. Ask yourself, what is that next step? So for me, for the mobile home park thing, what's my very, very next step? I need to get a database of mobile home parks in the area I want to buy in so I can start direct mail marketing. So what's my next step? I need to start building the database. Well, how do I do that? I need to, I have an assistant that helps me, so I need to create a step-by-step manual on how to build a database so she can do that. Well, there you go. Now I know my next step. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go schedule that on my calendar for maybe later today, or maybe right after I get off this call, or maybe tomorrow at the latest, right? Because I want to eliminate that dead space. And then every single day, I'm going to ask myself, what is that next most actionable step that I can do that's going to get me closer to my goals? Does that make sense? All right, so that's the dead space thing. The last thing I'll talk about is this, for those newbies out there. If you're just getting started, there's a quote by Hal Elrod, who wrote The Miracle Morning. Fantastic book, I'd recommend it. The Miracle Morning, in this book, he has this quote that says, I'm going to probably butcher it, but it says, if you define your process and commit to it for an extended period of time, the results take care of themselves. It says every product is preceded by a process, is how it begins, that quote begins. And let me tell you what I mean by that. Let's say your goal was to lose 20 pounds. You want to lose 20 pounds. You're not going to lose 20 pounds by telling all your family and friends you're going to lose 20 pounds. You're not going to lose 20 pounds by putting it on a piece of paper and putting it on your fridge, right? How do you lose 20 pounds? Diet and exercise, right? In other words, a process that you do every single day. And so for real estate, it's no different. What does your process look like? Now, yours might be different than mine. Maybe your process is to listen to one episode of the BiggerPockets podcast every week, right? Maybe that's your process. I mean, it's a very simple process, and I would encourage you to do more than that. But maybe that's your process, one a week. Maybe your process is one episode per day while you're sitting in traffic driving to work. Maybe you're in the education phase and so you need that. Maybe your process is 10 minutes of reading a book. If you want to know some good real estate books out there, let me just give you a few. You can pick up any of our books at biggerpockets.com/bookstore. Again, that's biggerpockets.com/bookstore. You can get the book on rental property investing, the book on flipping houses, the book on managing rental properties that my wife wrote, and she's awesome, and the smartest landlord that I know. You can pick up the book on investing with no loan money down. All those anyway. And the tax strategies book is fantastic if you guys want to save some money on taxes. There's a book that pays for itself 100 times over. And anyway, so those are some books. Other books, if you haven't read Rich Dad Poor Dad yet, it's fantastic. If you haven't read... what are some other good ones? There's a book called The Unofficial Guide to Real Estate Investing. I really like that one a lot. Landlording on Autopilot by Mike Butler, also a fantastic book. But if you're thinking about flipping houses, read the book on flipping houses. If you're thinking about rental properties, read the book on rental property investing. I think they're fantastic, even if I wrote one of them. So is that weird to say? I don't know. I think it's helpful. So anyway, let's go back to process. So maybe your process is that, but maybe your process, and this is a process I follow. My assistant that works with me, and she's really more of a lead acquisition manager at this point, not really much of an assistant, because she's actually out there finding deals for me. We follow the process where we analyze deals every single day. My process is every day we analyze deals, and every day, or at least once a week, we try to make an offer on something. And I know that most of my offers are going to get rejected. I know that most of the deals I analyze aren't going to be worth making an offer on. I know that most of the leads that I get in are probably not even worth analyzing. And that's okay. Here's the funny thing about real estate is that, remember in high school or in middle school, primary school, whatever, elementary school, if you got an F on a test, it was horrible, right? If you failed the test, well, what was an F? It's like what, 60%, below 60%? Like if you had a 55% on a test, you failed, right? Well, what if you got a 10%? Like, what if you got 10% right on your test? Just 10%. And you failed, like 90% of your test questions were wrong. What do you think about that? You would fail, right? But here's the thing, in real estate, 10%, if I only got 10% of my deals that I pursued accepted and closed, that would make me so excited. You know what I do when I get 10% right? I go on vacation to a month in Hawaii because that is like a reward for doing awesome stuff. Does that make sense? And so like, you don't need to get 100% of the deals you go after. This kind of ties in with the surfing analogy I said earlier. You're going to pursue deals and you're going to fail at them. And you're going to fail again and you're going to fail again. But don't think of those as failures. Think of those as building muscle memory. Think of those as getting you one step closer to the success you want. Even an experienced investor fails a good chunk of time. A good chunk of time they can fail. So anyway, find a process and commit to it for an extended period of time. If you just focus on the process and not just on the goal, but focus on what's the process look like that's going to get you there, then I think you're going to do so much better, and you're not going to be all like emotionally distraught by, oh, I went to go that deal and it didn't go through and now I'm miserable. You're not going to have those experiences because it doesn't matter. It's not an emotional thing. You just stick to the process. And so let me give you guys an example process. Here's what I would recommend. Can you analyze one deal every day? That's it. That's all. If you only analyze one single deal a day, and I don't care where you get the lead from, you could just get a real estate agent to send you all the properties in your area, right? Analyze one per day. Now, if you're doing it by hand, it might take you, I don't know, an hour, half hour. If you want to use our software that BiggerPockets invented and I use every day in my own business, go to biggerpockets.com/analysis. And you'll learn kind of how to analyze flips, rental properties, BRRRR properties, which I love the BRRRR strategy, wholesale deals, all sorts of stuff like that. So anyway, can you analyze one deal every day? If you use the BP calculators, you can do that in 5 minutes, right? What does the number show? Look at the number, and here's the beautiful part about real estate, is there is no yes or no when it comes to a property. Like, I don't look at a property and say, is that a good investment? And when I ask that question, is it a good investment, people say yes or no. It's a trick question, because the goal of an investor is not to say yes or no. The goal of the investor is to say how much is worth it for me. In other words, every property has a number that makes sense, and so that property, now that number might be negative, right? I mean, like I've seen some properties that you couldn't pay me 20 grand to buy, but every property has a number. Does that make sense? So your job as an investor is just to find that number. So could you every day go out there and analyze one deal and determine the number that makes sense? Pretty easy, right? I mean, you might spend 5, 10, 15 minutes a day doing that. Could you do that every day? Now, after 90 days of doing that, one, do you think you'll be pretty darn good at analyzing deals? Do you think you'll have enough muscle memory in your head to be able to just crank out these things whenever you need to? I sure would assume so. Now, let's take it up a notch. What if you agreed that out of every deal you analyze, let's say you made an offer on just 10% of them. So over the next 90 days, let's say you analyze 90 properties and you make an offer on 10% of them. So you make 9 offers. Okay. Now, what if what are the chances they're all going to get accepted? Probably not very likely, right? But you chose the 9 properties, the 10%, that were closest to the asking price, right? Or maybe the ones that got you most excited. So out of 9 offers, do you think that maybe one of them would say yes? In my business, we typically get about 1 out of every 10 offers accepted. About 10% of our offers accepted. And so, and a lot of real estate investors I know actually have that very same number. About 10% of their offers are accepted. And so, if you work that process, this is what I mean by working the process. If every day you analyzed one deal, and then every 10 or so deals you analyzed, you made an offer, like, you eventually are going to get the deal. Now, you may need to find a better lead source, and that's a topic for a whole different Facebook Live video or your YouTube video or a webinar, which I talk about that kind of stuff on the webinars as well. But the point is, if you just work your process and continually find ways to get better, right? It's not enough just to go out there and on the surf, to go back to the analogy I used earlier, it's not enough to go on the surfboard and just flap around all day. I'm learning. I'm always asking myself, how do I do this better? How do I get more efficient at my stroking and at my standing up and my jumping up, right? But I'm still just working it over and over and over. And so work your process and then continually find ways to improve that. Every day, just spend a few minutes on that. So anyway, so hopefully that helps there. Let me close this thing off. I actually want to give you guys maybe a few, maybe 10 if I can get to 10, actionable things you can do right now. So if you guys don't have a pencil and paper on you, go find a pencil and paper. I'm going to give you a list of 10 things that you can do right now, today, to become a better real estate investor. You guys ready? Okay, so number 1, I would recommend find a real estate agent. Very simple. So if you don't have one already, go to your Facebook right now. You're already on Facebook probably if you're watching this live, or if you're watching this recording later, or you're maybe on YouTube, whatever. Go to your Facebook and type in the following message. Hey, family and friends, comma, I'm looking for a real estate agent in whatever town you live in. Does anybody have a good recommendation? Feel free to tag them, right? Just put that message up there, and if you don't get any responses, do it again tomorrow, right? And you'll find some people will recommend. People love to give recommendations, right? You're gonna get probably a half a dozen or a dozen potential agents. Then call them up on the phone and talk to them, or set up an appointment with them, and just find somebody who you get along well with, and that seems pretty smart, and that's hungry. All right, so number one is find a real estate agent. The reason why is for number two. Ask that real estate agent, and if you already have one, you can just go right to the step. Ask that real estate agent to set you up with automatic email alerts. Automatic email alerts. In other words, so my agent Jason Atwood from Premier in Montesano, Washington, he's awesome. He has automatic alerts set up for me. So every time a new multifamily property comes on the market, I get an email. Every time a property under a certain price, I think I have it set at $100,000, comes on the market, I get an email. Now, the beauty of that is all of a sudden, I'm not out there hunting for deals. They are coming to my inbox. And I'm seeing them right away. I'm one of the very first person to see them. And so typically what I do is I get the email, I go and analyze it usually on my phone, just on the browser, on my browser, on my phone, on the BiggerPockets calculators. I'll analyze the deal, or if I'm at home, I'll do it on my computer. I'll run the numbers, and if it's anywhere close to where I think that we can maybe make a deal on it, I'll go look at the property, or maybe I'll make an offer before looking at it, but that's a little more advanced strategy. Anyway, usually by the end of the day, I've already got an offer on that property. You know what you're doing? You're sitting at home watching Dancing with the Stars with your feet up eating nachos. Like while I'm out there buying that deal the day it comes on the market. Because I'm very, very, very quick. And I'm not talking about just me. I'm talking about all experienced investors out there, the ones that are really crushing it. They are quick. Furthermore, they are offering 100% cash, close in 5 days, and it's crazy. Like, you have massive competition. I feel bad for the guys that are going up against me because I'm quick. If you want to go up against me and go up against all the other investors, you got to be quick as well. All right, so that was number two. What else do I got for you? So agent, connect with an agent. I would recommend this. If there's a lot of things you could do to invest in real estate. If you have no idea where to begin, like where, should you flip, wholesale, rental, I don't know what I'm doing. I want to recommend go to biggerpockets.com/UBG. Biggerpockets.com/UBG. Unbelievable, I don't know, what's a B word? Unbelievable Big Gorillas, UBG, right? It actually stands for the Ultimate Beginner's Guide. And what that is a free guide that we wrote that helps investors learn, or new investors learn, what's the best path to take. So that's number three, is go to biggerpockets.com/UBG, read the whole thing. All right, let's go number four. I want you guys to go to biggerpockets.com/meet, MEET. You can go there and you can search in your own zip code. You can search in your zip code for people who invest in real estate in your market. Now, if you're a pro member on BiggerPockets, you can search the entire country, or within like a 20-mile radius if you want, or 50-mile radius, whatever. But I want you guys to go to biggerpockets.com/meet and find an investor in your area and send them a private message. I don't care what you say to them. I just want you guys to start networking. That's another thing you do. All right, the next one. What am I at right now? Is that 3 or 4? I don't even know. Next, go to biggerpockets.com/forums. Biggerpockets.com/forums. While you're there, I want you to look for the forum that's titled the New Member Introduction Forum. If you've not yet left a new member introduction forum, Jordan Sunshine, Hawaii has a lot of good mastermind groups. Dude, Jordan Sunshine is the man. I met him the other day. He's awesome. If you guys are in Hawaii, connect with Jordan because he runs an amazing real estate group out here. Anyway, so go to biggerpockets.com/forums, find the new member introduction forum, and then create a new member introduction. Just say, hey guys, my name is Bob, if that's your name. If it's not your name, don't say Bob. Hi, my name is, insert your name here, and I'm looking to get started with real estate. This is what I want to do. This is the markets that I'm looking in. Hello. And then people are going to jump in and you're going to make friends and network with people and have good conversations, and it's going to be amazing. And you're going to build relationships. In fact, this sounds kind of nerdy and cheesy, but most of my best friends in life are people that I've never met in person, or at least only met like once in a while, like online. They're like in person, but they're online friends. And I've got a lot of them. And I know that sounds really nerdy, but I didn't even meet Josh Dorkin in person until a year after the podcast. Or maybe it was 6 months. I didn't meet Josh Dorkin in person until like a year or 6 months after the podcast started. Isn't that crazy? It's because I do a lot of networking on the site. So anyway, so that's a good way to network with people. And the goal, James asked, so what if I do this? What's the end result? The goal is to start building connections with people who can help you. Like, I'm a firm believer in that quote, you are the average of the 5 people you associate with the most. So if the 5 people you hang out with the most sit around and watch Dancing with the Stars every night, guess what you're going to be doing every night? Watching Dancing with the Stars every night. Now, I don't have anything against that show, but it's just, that's what people do. You become like the people you're around. But when you start hanging around people who invest in real estate, you start learning from them, it's going to naturally bring you up in the world to their level. Now, I'm not saying they're better or whatever, but just it brings you to their level because you start thinking the way that they do, and I think it's very, very important. So the new member introduction and the BiggerPockets meet are both very good for networking. We talked about the UBG for learning. I think that's very important. Next, go to BiggerPockets.com. This is the next tip for you. Right now, go to BiggerPockets.com or write this down. BiggerPockets.com/analysis. We talked about the calculators earlier. Look, everybody on BP, whether you're a free member or a pro member, can use the calculators up to a certain amount. So free members get 5 chances to use the calculators. Go run an analysis right now. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to Realtor.com, find one property. I don't even care what it is. Just find one property in your area. Go to Realtor.com, find one property in your area, go analyze it. That's what I want you to do. That's a very simple thing. But you're going to learn a lot. You're going to come across stumbling points where you're like, well, I don't know what I'm doing here. That's great. That's muscle memory. Are you going to give up and go back to watching TV, or are you going to go and figure out how to answer those questions? Hopefully you're going to go back and answer those questions. No way. Is that my mom? Lori Turner, you guys, my mom is watching this video right now. You guys, my mom is awesome, and my dad is awesome too, but my mom's here watching it. So anyways, everybody say hi to Lori. Hi, Mom. All right. So anyway, we were talking about BiggerPockets.com/analysis. Go analyze one deal. Let me know what you think. Even if you want to, I think you have to be a pro member for this. I don't remember for sure. Maybe you can figure this out. But you can actually share your calculator report to anybody you want to. In fact, let me just show you guys what I'm talking about real quick. This is just kind of a cool little thing that I do a lot. BiggerPockets.com/analysis. Check this out here. I'm going to pull this off. I'm going to show you kind of what I'm doing here. All right, so this is BiggerPockets.com/analysis. If I go to, you can also go up here to like tools and go to house flipping calculator, rental property calculator, BRRRR calculator, whatever. Let's say, let's go house flipping calculator. And I'm going to go to my previous reports just for the heck of it. Let's go look at one that I did here. Here's a property right here that I was looking at. I could have uploaded a photo, I didn't, but this is what I wanted to show you. Next tip, if you go down here to the bottom and go to more actions, you can upload a photo, you can download as a PDF, or you can share a PDF. So this is what I want you guys to do. Oh, sorry, my camera was too low. Over here, share the PDF report. Hey, my mom just shared my video. Hey, you guys, want to do something really cool? You guys do me a favor, if you're enjoying this video right now, if you like this, you think there's value here, or you think your family and friends might like it, well, you could do me a huge favor and share this on your Facebook wall. There's a little share button on your Facebook wall. Just share this video because, again, like a lot of people struggle with getting started. I want to help you guys get over that. Anyway, do that for me if you would, and then let me know that you did in the comment area, and either me or Zach, Zach's running the chat part of this conversation right now, will give you a little shout out. So anyway, thanks. All right, let's go back to this again. What you can do is you actually get this little link. Thank Wads. Thank you, Wads. They're awesome. Thank you for sharing. All right, I'm going to copy that. It copies the link, and then I can send this link to anybody I want. So what I want to recommend you guys do is, this might be a pro-only feature, I just can't remember, but I want to encourage you guys to share the PDF report. Share your one deal that you analyzed, and go put it over in the Facebook chat room area later. And then like over the next couple of days, people can go and check out what you analyzed. You know, we're just doing this for fun right now. But this kind of shows what this flip would be. This is the property I was looking at. It was 808 East 1st Street. This was a HUD house I was looking at. And I ran the numbers and I determined that, let's see, that the after repair value was $90,000. I could pay $20 for this deal if I put 40 grand into the rehab and $20,000 into the profit. And so like that's just one deal that I ran. Anyway, I think it's kind of cool. So check it out. And where are we at here? By the way, it says here, this is kind of cool. I love this part of the flipping calculator. It says, according to the data you provided, you can afford to offer $20,800 to make a profit of $20,000. This is based on an ARV of $90,000, a rehab budget of $40,000, and holding costs of $800. Perfect. So now I know exactly what I was doing. Now I can send this PDF report to like a lender. I can send it to a partner. If I'm trying to convince my wife that like I'm not crazy and that I want to do this deal around. I want to like convince her that I'm not crazy, I just show her the PDF report. I'm like, hey, hon, this is what I'm looking at. Or if I'm trying to get a private money lender to fund the deal, I send them the report. If I'm trying to get a bank loan on a deal, I send them the report. If I'm trying to get a refinance, I send them the report. I do this all the time. I'm a huge believer in it. So anyway, so there's that. What other actionable tips can I give you guys today? Maybe here's an actionable tip. If there's something you want to learn more about, let's kill the dead space right now. If there's something stopping you education-wise, I want you to go to biggerpockets.com/podcast and find one podcast that's similar, like that might answer your question. If you're like, I want to get into burr investing, go find a podcast about burr investing. Just go scroll through the podcast until you find something that you like. Or go to the blog and find an article right now. Do this stuff today, right? Kill the dead space in your life. You'll accomplish so much more. Let's see what other actionable tips can I have. Here's one. So this is my wife and I, like I mentioned earlier, we're spending a month in Hawaii right now. And I wanted to learn how to surf, but we're also like, just because I'm addicted to real estate, we've been spending a lot of time in our car driving around. And so here's what we do. We drive together, so this is your tip. Get with your wife, husband, girlfriend, boyfriend, mom, dad, sister, I don't care who, get in the car and have them open up either the Realtor.com app or the Redfin app or the Zillow app, any of those apps, and all those apps have map features. So as you're driving around, you can see your little blue dot moving along the streets. And if you zoom in close enough, you can see what the what their value of the properties are, or you can also see what the rent estimate of those properties are, which is kind of cool. And so why do you do that? Now, of course, okay, let's get one thing out of the way. Those numbers are not going to be perfectly accurate. I know that, you know that, we all know that. They're not perfectly accurate. And so Jordan just shared this to both his friends list and his real estate group. Jordan, you're the man. So these numbers are not going to be perfectly accurate, but they're close enough to give you a good idea of the market. Like, I've been in Hawaii now for a little over a week, and I understand most of the entire island, what properties go for, what a nice property is, what a crappy property is. I understand what rents are in different areas, and I've only been here like a week. So if you don't know your area like that, get in your car today, put on a Barney video for the kids to watch in the back, or whatever kids are watching these days, or give them the iPad to play on, and then you and somebody else, so that way you're not using your phone and driving, because that's dangerous, people, don't do it. You guys can go around and look and to understand your market better. I just think it's so valuable to get a good idea of what areas are more spendy, what are cheaper. Here's an example of what people wouldn't know. In my area, I know the town of Montesano, prices are like 3 times or at least twice as much as they are in the town of Hoquiam. But rents are actually almost the same. It's very unique, interesting. So, but I also understand that Montesano prices go up much faster. So I buy in Montesano for appreciation. I buy in Hoquiam for cash flow. That's just something I know about my market. Now, if you were trying to buy in my market, you would not know that, right? But I know that because I know my market, because I've driven around it. Now I know that about Hawaii as well. I know certain areas that seem to cash flow better or worse. Some areas that would be better for flipping and not. So these are things that you can do as well. Get in your car, go drive around. You don't have any excuses. Stop making your excuses. All right, next. Some other actionable advice, tips I can get. Anybody else have any tips they want to share? You can share them in the comment section. I love tips. I don't know. That's probably all I got, because I'm going to hang up, because I'm in Hawaii and I'm hanging out with you guys, and I love you guys, but let me just show you. Let me just show you this. I'm going to brag for a second. I'm going to brag. So this is my little Airbnb rental, by the way. It's pretty awesome. Staying here. And this is what I'm hanging out with today. So, pretty cool area, huh? Look at those palm trees. Yeah. This is nice stuff. So, with that, guys, I'm going to head out of here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you learned some good stuff. I hope you feel motivated to go find a deal. If you do, if you're excited to go find a property, give me one more thumbs up or a heart. I love that stuff. It also helps Facebook to know that there's value in these videos, and they show them to more people. So if you think there's value here, give me the thumbs up and share this on your Facebook page. It makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. So with that, guys, I'm going to head out. Remember, last time I'll say this, go to biggerpockets.com/webinar to sign up for this week's webinar. And also, make sure you guys are following BiggerPockets here on Facebook. You know, if you saw this video because it happened to be shared by one of your friends, make sure you're following BiggerPockets on Facebook, because we post a lot of Facebook Live stuff like this. We do a lot of videos. In fact, there's a video posted earlier today on analyzing a fourplex. amazing. You guys check that out. You'll learn from Dave Meyer, who's a whiz guy. I don't say kid because he's like my age, but he's a whiz kid with analyzing deals, and you can learn a ton more about analysis by watching that video. And a quick shout out to Zach, who's our videographer and social media manager. He's amazing, and he's here today chatting with you guys on the chat. So Zach, thank you for all you do. All right, guys, thank you, and I don't know, I'll probably see you next week. I'll do another Facebook Live sometime, and maybe we'll go out and look at some properties or something here in Hawaii. Sound fun? All right, guys, thank you so much, and I'll see you